Good morning. My name is Liz Jennings, Employer Engagement Specialist. Welcome to CareerForce and More for Employers, Session 1. So glad to have you here this morning. This is a Getting to Know You webinar series for employers, recruiters, HR professionals, and perhaps workforce development professionals who need a little bit more information about CareerForce, our system, and how we can help you hire and match job seekers with your company. So I'm so glad to have you all here today. Some of the things that I'm going to be going through are the who, what, where, why, and how CareerForce serves employers. In the coming weeks, we'll go over tips for using Minnesota Works effectively. I'll introduce you to more of our colleagues with Indeed and within CareerForce system that serve employers, perhaps on a deeper level, that take you into a focus area. And then I'll just give you some pointers on navigating careerforcemn.com for all of the wealth of the information that's there and that you can save and use in the future. So I said, my name's Liz Jennings. My title is Employer Engagement Specialist. I have kind of a triple role, you could say. I assist all of the locations across the state whenever they need questions answered about resources to help you in your area. I do give assistance to businesses and have daily and weekly phone calls with many of your colleagues in businesses across the state. And then I do host webinars such as this and others for job seekers around industry focused hiring. So you can always email me at liz.jennings@state.mn.us. So today we're going to take you on an overview of the CareerForce system and the CareerForceMN.com top 5 pages and resources that I think are most useful just getting started when you're interacting with CareerForce in your business, and then go over a little bit on how to connect with local area staff, really because we acknowledge that all of the hiring really is on a local basis. And so what you need to do is get connected to your colleagues in CareerForce in your local area. So just a word about CareerForce. Some of you who've been working in workforce for a long time might recognize the name Minnesota Workforce System, Workforce Center System. That was the name up until about 2019. And then this partnership came together, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But we are part of the American Job Center system, coordinated by United States Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration. So if you are a recruiter that works in multiple states, you'll know their other states' systems by other names. So Kentuckiana Works, Employ Florida, Michigan Works, CareerSource, Texas Workforce Commission. They're all slightly different, but we're all under the same American Job Center system. So CareerForce is a partnership of private, public, and nonprofit partners throughout the Minnesota, and we are committed to a dual purpose of helping individuals, job seekers, start, advance, or change their career, especially if around a layoff, but not necessarily. So many other reasons besides that. And then we're also focused on helping you, employers, attract, develop, and retain talent. We know that some of the importance comes from our economic development side. Department of Employment and Economic Development's mandate is to ensure a strong future economically for all of Minnesota. But nonetheless, we help Minnesota thrive economically by continuing to build its world-class workforce. There are 50 locations across the state. Sometimes these are in flux. They change a little bit, but each one of these areas has services. And you can always find them on our chart. I'm going to put it in the chat here. CareerForceMN.com/locations. Type in your zip code or your city, and then there's an autofill drop-down menu that pops up. Click on that, and then it gives you maybe like 10 sorted by closest to furthest away. But you can see they're in all of the parts of the state, from as far north as Roseau and International Falls, down to Austin, Albert Lee, and Fairmont, farthest east as Duluth, Virginia, Winona, Red Wing, and farthest west over to Moorhead and Marshall, and all of the other areas too. And then in the Twin Cities, we have 13 different CareerForce locations. So there's always something in a geographical area that makes sense to both job seekers and employers. So as I put in the chat, go to careerforcemn.com/locations, and this is the example of a box that it pops up with to find your location nearest you. Just a word on the job seeker side. I'm not going to dwell on this because it's focused on the employer, but there really is a range of job seeker services. So whether it's employment service, veteran services, dislocated worker, that means people who've been laid off when a company has downsized or closed altogether. Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act Adult Services. You might hear that as WIOA, but that's a federal program. Youth programs, could be anywhere from 16 to 25. So when someone says youth services, don't think that they're automatically under 18. Oftentimes it is 18 to 25 that they serve. Migrant seasonal farm services, vocational rehabilitation services, which are services to people with disabilities, both invisible and visible. Adult career pathway programs. These are programs that help provide training programs to adults to get them reemployed. And then adult basic education also falls under this umbrella for job seeker services. But let's move on. Employer services. We really focus on talent matching opportunities, talent development, regional wage and demand data, and diversity and equity inclusion. So those are all the different types of links that you'll find on the webpage, and we're going to go over all of them. Talent matching, we mean getting you in touch with job seekers, whether it's word of mouth, by relationship, by job fair, by employer of the day. Talent development, um, incumbent worker programs, other workplace programs, Ticket to Work, that many of our partners administer. So let's jump over at this point now to our virtual and interactive services for job seekers. And I consider this page the top 10 page for employers. So you can see it's on the banner here, virtual and interactive services for employers. You can click on that, or I often go to For Employers, Virtual and Interactive Services. And this really is everything that you'd probably want to get started with. So again, it starts with that get help with your hiring over the phone, with that locations right up top and center. A summary again of employers, contact the location. If you have trouble, we have a great team on the CareerForce Information and Assistance line. And you can email them at any time at careerforce@state.mn.us, or you can call them at 651-259-7500. I just put it in the chat. And then there's a phone tree that will get you to the right person and to the right assistance. But really, one of the top hits that people always ask, and we know this is the problem, this is the biggest challenge right now, is how do we hire people? And this is a longer conversation that will go into next week, next Thursday. But really, it starts with developing your job description, writing that job description that it reduces the number of minimum qualifications that that reflects your workplace, that lets people know what to expect in terms of wages and company culture, that that makes it appealing to all people. So on this page, post a post a job, it goes over a few of those things, and then it introduces MinnesotaWorks.net, which is our national labor exchange. We'll have Lena Bulk, our supervisor of Minnesota Works, in a couple of weeks. And she'll go over everything that you need to know. But I'm sure all of you have already started this process because that's how we promoted these webinars to you. So going to post a job talks about how to register as a Minnesota Works employee or employer, how to get your information indexed by the United States National Labor Exchange. Every single state has their labor exchange system. Ours is called Minnesota Works, and different states call it different things. And then more details on how to do it, and then a helpful how-to guide too, if you need even more details. But then, of course, at any time, just contact our help desk. Going back to that virtual interactive services page, career fair calendar, this is the second thing that really helps you with hiring. This is the start of promotion. And this isn't the end all and be all of promotion, but it's one place that our job seekers and our job counselors check on a really regular basis. So I really encourage you at any time to put your information on this page. And then please send your hiring promotional materials to your CareerForce locations nearest you so they can start the word to get it out to the job seekers. That's really the critical part, is we're trying to connect, we're trying to develop these relationships. So employers, you fill out this form to add your career fair to the calendar. And make sure that you've got quite a bit of information in here. So, for instance, our colleagues at Integer in Minneapolis, they're having a hiring event today, this afternoon. In the body of the description, they've put a little bit more for job seekers, what to expect, where to go, to reserve an interview, who to call or text. So that really helps. So that's just a sneak peek on there. Then oftentimes a person will have questions about unemployment insurance from the business side. We have a link to UIMN there. Workforce Wednesday, this is the other hiring portal that really, really helps you go deeper into your practices to make sure that you really are a business of choice. I've got a fantastic team of colleagues within Department of Employment and Economic Development, workforce strategy consultants who run these Workforce Wednesdays, once a month webinars, and they record them. They're conversations about topics that help you develop a different strategy towards hiring employees, and it interviews employers, hiring managers who have done it well. So yesterday, they invited, let me see if I can find it down here, people with disabilities in the workplace. So they had the speakers from a couple of different businesses, from Department of Employment Services, and then all of the resources that they talked about. And I believe that they will be posting the recording. It isn't up yet, but it probably, oh, here we go. It is. It says watch recording. So you can watch it too. Every single one of their topics is really fantastic, and they've got a lot of great business partners. So I really encourage you to go over to that. And then the CareerForce and More link, that's here. Telework and accessibility information for partnership on employment and accessible technology. One of the numbers that I heard yesterday in the Workforce Strategy Consultant webinar is that at least 25% of Minnesotan or of United States residents have some type of visible or invisible disability. And that can be quite a range. It could be more than what you think, or maybe you know very well. But there are so many low cost, easy to use, accessible technology that really makes working possible for so many people. So in any case, that is a link to Pete. And their information on accessibility and telework information. Career One Stop Business Center is a federal site, but it's run through Minnesota. Um, you've you've got a lot of resources for developing a job. Description here, they call it their business center. Train and retain. There's some toolkits. I honestly haven't dug around here too much, but I really encourage you to explore it to see if you need anything there. And then some other resources, the COVID-19 guidance that links to the Minnesota state system, workforce optimization cycle resources. This is a blog, a series of articles that the Workforce Strategy Consultant wrote, and other things. But what I want to do in the time remaining is just go down, and I want you to just look at the footer here, connect to our services and meet our partners. You know, I said at the beginning, CareerForce is a partnership between private, nonprofit, and public entities. And what that means is that there are a lot of us working together to provide services. Let me see if I can see something. Well, okay, so I'll go this way. So for instance, the public partners, Anoka County Job Training Center, um, they're an example of a county services that run the services in obviously Anoka County, and the CareerForce Blaine Center. CareerForce Blaine is situated within the Anoka County Human Services Building. And in that respect, it's fantastic because there are so many job seekers and other people who, just normal citizens who come into the building and then become aware of the job counseling and employment services. And this is where all of the in-person job fairs, when Anoka County has them, are held. But then in the same way, there are people like Arrowhead Community Action Agency in Aitkin in Cloquet. They're a nonprofit and they run services through CareerForce in their areas. Now, there isn't a CareerForce official CareerForce location, but AEOA is a partner in the CareerForce system, and job seekers, when if they're dislocated, or youth services, and others, I don't know the full range of services that they offer, but they provide services in that system. And then DEED job service. So there are those of us who are employed by Department of Employment and Economic Development, and we're employment service staff. And so then some of the locations are run by state of Minnesota. But really what you don't have to worry about is who provides what, because we're all together in providing all of these services. The other thing, the other goal for all of this is that eventually that you would engage at an even deeper level with all of our opportunities and our partners. So what I'm trying to do here is find our page. I'm going to go down to About and go to, on the right-hand side, local workforce development boards. Every single county has a workforce development board, and it's comprised or composed of business members, some county members, and some nonprofit. And together they provide a whole range of advice, guidance, and services to the local area. So if you are interested in getting involved more deeply in your workforce system, I really encourage you to contact your workforce development board in your region. And visitors are always welcome to attend meetings. You can have conversations and see what they're doing. Oftentimes they'll plan a job fair, or they'll plan meet and greet, or they run employers of choice uh, award ceremony that really lift up all of the fantastic businesses in your area. So this is another way to become a business of choice that raises your profile in the area, and then it draws job seekers in a completely different way. Like, oh yeah, I've heard of that company, and my colleague says that they're really a good place to work for. Maybe I'm going to apply there. And so, that's another way just of getting involved. So that information again is down at the footer. So you always go down to the footer to About CareerForce, which leads you to this About Us page, obviously. There's the CareerForce Division annual report. And then on the right-hand side, the local workforce development boards and meet our partners. So that's a really quick overview. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. And then while I wait for that, I want to advise all of you, if you don't already, please make a login. Sign up for a business account. And then when you come to pages that you're finding valuable, you have the opportunity to click on the favorite button and also design your labor market information so that you can see it behind the scenes. So you go to sign up in the corner, top corner, fill out your My Account, create a new account, and then it's approved. Now, this is different than the MinnesotaWorks.net account that you all have because they're two different software systems. But I'll just log into mine and show you. So when you log in then the first time, every single time, it tells you where your location is. You can set this. It shows you your favorites. These are pages that I've starred to make sure that I have quick links to it. My favorite organizations, that's something else I'll cover in the coming weeks. There are links to, like for job seeker links, employment readiness, all that. And then you can also set your labor market so that this is connected to Department of Employment and Economic Development's labor market data, and it's continuously updated. So you can see the information, the most recent quarter. It's usually in the quarters that we have, and so we're just coming to the end of quarter 1. So this will be updated in a couple of weeks. But Minnesota has been adding a lot of jobs, 6.19% increase in 2021. And then industry trends, and you can set all of this information. And then there's a blog. So I really encourage you all to make that link. So 8:25, we're towards the end here. Thank you very much for attending. At any time, please email me with your questions. Yes, we will have a copy of the recording of these meetings, and also a copy um, is already on CareerForce and More for Employers. I did this series in December and January, and though it might be just slightly different what I mentioned on a given morning, it's really pretty close. So you can go to the CareerForce and More webpage and look at all of the recordings if there's a session that you are not able to attend. But otherwise, yes, we'll start posting this series as well. So um, glad to have all of you here today. Have a good week. Email me with any questions you have. Thanks.